My name is Eve DeVoe, and I'm the U.S. Operations Manager for Gardens for Health.
I'm Raghu Apasani with the Minds Foundation.
My name is Deb Coppins, and the organization I'm with is called Our Starting Point.
Noella Vigilimana.
And Celia Bowman from Team Heart.
So I think one of the difficult aspects of trying to get funding for a nonprofit or a new idea is trying to get contacts or network into foundations and agencies that actually give out unrestricted grants or any sort of grant. And for me, coming from more of the medical science sector and not from the nonprofit sector, I didn't really know how to approach this.
One of the things I've learned a tremendous amount about is the funding sources that exist and have made me rethink the types of funding that I want to go after and when and how I need to prepare.
I think that the best way is to really diversify your funding strategy and your development strategy, and that's also another area that I had difficulty with in the beginning.
I think the thing that has been most difficult for Team Heart is because we're a small organization reaching out to new donors, finding ways to engage people.
So I wouldn't say necessarily that it was a mistake for us to start out using Excel as a donor database. I think it's common for a lot of people to start off with, as someone who's just starting out with maybe a few really big supporters and like a little bit of seed funding.
A lot of nonprofits sort of just started off with a passion or a motivation or an idea and didn't really try to build in financial structures or HR structures or that operating infrastructure. And I think it's very important to make sure you have those early on.
I think that it would have been helpful for us to have more access to branding strategies when we were just starting out.
One of the challenges that I believe I face, although most organizations probably do, in conveying our story is a result of the work that I want for our starting point to do.
I think the ability to tell real stories and convey the urgency and also be able to convey the success when we're able to provide the care that's needed is something that really speaks to a lot of people.
And so I believe the story needs to be told with the emotion behind it and also with the data and the stories behind it that will compel us all as individuals and collectively as a society to move forward in that direction.
On one hand, you want to show that there's much to be done. And on the other hand, you want to stay optimistic because something is being done, some progress is being registered.
In terms of language as well as graphics, it's kind of the whole package that you need to be able to present yourself and say, this is Gardens for Health. This is what we look like. This is what we sound like. Kind of the whole package.
And then I want to use PR firms, people with much more education and knowledge and experience than I have in getting that message out there in sort of a mass medium way.
Again, this goes back to surrounding yourselves with the right people, whether it's advisors or board members or staff, and really becoming confident in your strengths and also confident in your weaknesses.
There are going to be days, and I'm sure you would agree, that things might get very, very challenging, but just believing in your mission and knowing that there are people out there that not only need help, but that you can impact.
I guess I could say it's good to think ahead and be optimistic in a sense, because in case you end up having a lot of success, you want to be prepared to handle everything and do the best you can.
There's usually a reason. There's usually things I learn from that will either point me in a different direction that might be a better one to go in anyway.
I think don't be afraid of making mistakes, and it's better to make more mistakes early on than later. But at the same time, definitely go to advisors and surround yourself with people who can fill in the gaps of where you're not comfortable.
Or that I can take that information and it will benefit me greater at a later date, and the only way to have gotten to accomplish that would be to have made that particular mistake. It's just hard to realize, but it's hard to view it that way in the moment.